What's up? This is Nouvelle, and I want to talk with you today a little bit about integrity in business. We work with a lot of companies, and it's often said that a person's talent will get them into the room, but their integrity is what keeps them there. And so then the question comes, what does that mean? This means that your talent or skill may open the door of opportunity to get you into a particular opportunity, but it's your honesty, your integrity that will keep you at the table with people wanting to work with you. And that is huge. So being smart, beautiful, and kind it isn't enough. You need to also be someone who does the right thing, a person of character. And this is important because even when it's hard, it can be hard, but it feels so good in the end to be able to help someone and to know that you did it honestly. And in fact, Warren Buffett, he says that there are three things he looks for when it comes to hiring. And in particularly, it's integrity, intelligence, and energy. And if they don't have the first, integrity, then the other two will kill you. That's what he says. And the underlying principle here is that skills can be taught and developed. Integrity, though, is a core trait that determines whether the other two skills are used constructively. And integrity can be developed and learned and cultivated as well. Yet you want to have a good starting point with working with people of good character. So that's huge. And Buffett's point here is pretty straight to the point that without integrity, intelligence and energy can actually become liabilities. And that means that because a person who is smart and hardworking without ethics can cause far more harm than someone who is lacking skill yet has high integrity. You can train for the skill, but the meaning here is that it does not mean you come in self-righteous or thinking that you're better than anyone else. Not at all, because we're all human, we're all flawed, yet we can still be honest. We can still act with heart. We can still have our actions align with our words, right? They can still be in alignment. And we can be people who are willing to stand through tough times, even when it's hard, simply because that's the right thing to do. So at our firm, with Gonzalo Law, not to have a shameless plug, but kind of a shameless plug too. This is just how we work. We hire, fire, evaluate cases and more based on our core values. And those are to be passionate, to be reliable, to be focused on client needs, and also to be honest. And that including be experienced, all very important. So we start every staff meeting with these core values. We do our monthly evaluations, incorporating these core values and based on them as well. Essentially, we eat, live, and sleep them and breathe them on a regular basis. So key takeaways when it comes to business in integrity in business are these. 1, make sure your actions align with your words. You don't want to be saying one thing and then doing another. Those things need to be in alignment together. If you say you will do it, do it. If you said the price was a certain price, honor that. Unless you had discussions about the price possibly changing or fluctuating, have that talk beforehand, not later. And then number 2, make sure you give your best to each project. And that means not cutting corners. That means do what you need to be able to do your best, whether that's getting rest, getting training, getting help, whatever you need to make sure that it not only will happen, but that you're able to give your best to make it happen. Then do that. So that's huge. Next is to honor marriages and relationships. This is a big one, everybody. This is a big one. And this is something that I believe is so important to making sure that you have integrity in business. And that is when you're working with the opposite sex, making sure it's important that you set boundaries in place and guidelines. You can be friendly, you can be kind, you can be professional, yet make sure to set clear safeguards. I respect marriages and relationships. I do not make any advances towards those who are in them, nor do I receive them from those who are in relationships. When possible, I invite partners and spouses along so that they're included in the process. Also, my office door, it always either stays open or cracked, so that it's never fully closed. It's always has some flexibility there because I have team that work in my office as well as outside. And so when possible, I do business as well with multiple people around. So these are just some examples, just some. Yet there are tons that you can do. And be a safe person that people can work with and not need to worry about if dealing with you is going to be a liability. You want to be able to be safe. So communication is one last takeaway I would mention. Tell the client the truth. Don't try and look for an angle. Just be a straight shooter. Provide regular updates. Take in mind what they are working on, of course, but be a straight shooter. My father was a judge, and one thing that people would often tell me about him, and he passed away, but one thing people would always tell me about him is that your dad was a straight shooter. What he said was what it was, and that always stuck with me. And I said, I always want to be like that as well. I want to make sure I'm a straight shooter. So I would share that with you as well. We can all get busy. We can all find ourselves sometimes at some point under the weather, but we want to stay in regular contact with the client. We want them to know what the situation is, what the plan is to move forward. Send up a smoke signal if you need to. Okay, maybe don't do that because that could be part of FAA guidelines that would be in violation of them. So don't do that. But you get the point. Just communicate and send word. So that's it. Again, this is not about being perfect. This is about being intentional, respectful, and honoring. It's the golden rule. You do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or even better, outdo one another, showing honor. All right, well, that's all I have for you today in terms of integrity in business. But keep these things in mind and you will go so far and do so much. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.